Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Fox tutorial, and today we are actually going to be focusing on the bridge of the nose part, and maybe if we've got time to go round the eyes a bit more and more down the nose. So first of all, I am going to start with the burnt ochre. So I'm just going to draw on it very lightly so that we can get our layers down. As you can see, I've actually taken it out of the book so that I can get a harder surface to work on, and then I can get more texture into it. And as you remember from last time, we're just going to go excuse me, the same direction as what the fur is, so just keep referring to your photo. Now if you haven't got a burnt ochre, then like an orangey browny or light brown would be good for this one, and you can make layers on top with another colour. And as always, if you think it's getting away from you, just sort of trust the process. That's what I was taught from a mentor of mine. Right. That's a good thing about having this line art, because then you can actually know where you're going to put your lines. So I'm just going to put the base colour for all of this part down, and then I'll just work in different areas. I'll focus on one area at a time. And if you notice, I'm holding it rather than like that. I'm holding it further up so you can get the lighter stroke pencil strokes in. My hand sort of automatically goes in that direction. There we go. So if you notice, it's going to be darker around by the eyes if you're looking at your reference photo, and then lighter on the bridge of the nose with light darker bits in between. just make sure you do shorter strokes around this area. Right, so right round there and round there. Yeah, so that's like that. It's always worth pausing just to make sure you've got it right. Okay, just going to add a bit more around there. And a bit more around there. Okay, right, so then, excuse me, let's have a look at the raw umber. Yep. Okay, so I think I'm going to work on this part first of all and then work my way across. So and just be mindful of the way that part is going. And just remember not to go too dark so that you can get all of your layers in. Right, and a bit there goes. Actually, if I sharpen my pencil, that's it, add a bit more of a point on it. It's all about having patience whilst you're adding the layer. Right, some deeper tones there, so I am going to use burnt sienna, so it's mid to dark brown. It's quite rich around this area. goes in all different directions around here, so you're just going to want to be very careful about that. Oh. I always think, especially looking at this Fox picture in the original, that they always look like they've got eyeliner on. Right. Just going to go a bit more around here actually. Oh, keep knocking the camera. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, so just follow that there. So it's a bit light around there, and it's a bit, let's see if this terracotta, so you could use a like an orange and a light brown together. Okay, yeah, quite pleased with that. It's looking quite good with the terracotta. As I say, if you I think I mentioned previously, if you, I mean, these are really great to buy, the Polychromos, and they are quite affordable buying them singularly, and you can get them from Art Discount, really good. I think there's also the Colour Pencil shop as well that I get mine from, and just buying them individually is so much more affordable. So when I well, you'll have the materials list, so I mean what I've always done is checked out which colours I'm going to use, and then just have a look to see which website I'm going to get it from, and then just buy the colours that I need. It's so much easier that way. I also find that when you're doing fine details like this, I like to keep my pencil sharp for this kind of drawing, because like the fur is quite fine, so you'll probably find where you'll sharpen them a lot, you're going to need to replace them, and so that's why it's a good thing to sort of buy them individually, because you know, you can just get them one at a time. So some of the colours I've used quite a lot of, especially like the blacks and the whites. You know, I've gone through quite a lot of those. Right, so it's more like an orangey browny colour around here, and up there it's getting a bit darker, so I won't put as much terracotta in that one. Like round here, it's going to be more of a reddy brown, I would have thought. So I've got a nice, I think the Carmine Lake would look good for that on the luminance pencil. But I find it easier to put the polychromos down first because the lead's harder and you can get finer detail with it. Right. Okay, let's try and sharpen this Carmine Lake, just bear with me. Right. If you've got like a deep red, you can use that with a brown as well. It's all about having a trial on a different piece of paper and just to see which colours match it the best. So you can always do like light over dark, so just do your layers lightly and then just see which combination comes out best. Yeah, I quite like this colour. This lead's a lot softer. Again, even with this darker colour, I'm pressing quite lightly with it. Right. Actually, around there, it's quite a bit lighter. Sorry, this is the burnt ochre again. Right, so we got that. Actually, this is the walnut brown, so this is a dark one for Polychromos. Right, just gonna go in the shadow bit there. So I've got my iPad in front of me with the bit that I'm working on is on zoom, so I can see it close up and look at the details a lot easier. Okay. I'm just trying to go the same direction as the fur. As you can see around here, it's got quite a bit of a wave on this side, so it's all about trying to get that in. It's slowly taking shape. Just going to see what my slice tool is going to do with texture. nice paper. Although actually I can see some bits. So all this is doing is just like lifting out some of the pigment. Right, let's have a look. So I'm just going to carry on with the dark brown. And you have to go careful that not to overwork it. Okay, so that's not so dark, so I'm going to use the raw umber because it's got to blend together. And as before, just go with the way that the direction of the fur. Right, so when we get to there, that's when it goes around, but there's a light bit there, so we can go around there, but then there is a lighter brown bit there. Which tends to go that way. Just going to work around this bit actually, just to sort of bring this eye more into focus. I think rather than moving on over to this eye, I think it's probably best to work on this bit to give it some context, and then work for this half, so like this half here, and then move up to there, and then go round and down and up. I think that's probably going to be the best way to do it, and then yeah, it's just going to give it a lot more context actually around this part. So it's always good to sit back and reassess what you're working on, because what you think you're going to be working on, as it comes along, you suddenly think, okay, no, this needs to change. So yeah, that's how I tend to do it anyway. So we've got around the eye here, we've got a lighter colour, which is that bit there. Right, I think maybe I need to just get my Tombow eraser, because I think I'm going to lift out bits of this and just maybe make it slightly lighter. And that's always a good thing. I mean, Tombow razors are great for lifting out colour, but I mean, if you haven't got that, then the alternative is the putty rubber, and that lifts out the pigment as well. But for small pieces like this, then this works brilliantly. Okay, so I'm just going to go and work on the light bit. So then it goes a bit light there. Okay, and then there, because there it's going to be a darker shade before it goes off light again. Okay, so I think we're going to need the walnut brown around this little bit here. Sort of about plotting where you think things are, well, not where you think, but where you can see things are. Okay, so we have a little bit there. Then it goes, let's try the brown ochre there, because it goes lighter there. Yeah, I think that's looking better. And then it's got a little bit there. Then I think it's got the burnt sienna, which is like the reddy brown. So you've got more around there. Yeah, I think that's looking better. And then got the darker bits going through there, but yeah, just try and do it as little strands. Yeah, I think that's looking better already. Yeah. It's always trial and error, but it's worth it once you know, when you've put the work in, and you can just see it come into life on the paper. But yeah, really pleased with that. Okay, so another bit of a dark strand through there. And what's this one look like? See, I quite often do that on a scrap bit of paper just to see the colours that I'm dealing with. So yeah, I'll try that in there. And remember, it doesn't have to be like 100% alike, but it's good to have the colours as near as you can get them. Yeah, that's good. So, but then we have the burnt ochre again. So if we just do like bottom to top like that, it's always a good way of doing it. So you can see it's going under. Right, and also once you've got more around here, then you'll see the colour fitting in a lot better. So I'm going to carry on with the brown ochre around this part for the moment. We're just going to keep following that round there. Excuse me. So we've got that bit there, so everything is coming round there, but just make sure you leave a lighter spot there because it's kind of like a cold grey colour, which I'd say the cold grey one, which is the lightest of the greys. Oh, dear. Smooth that over there. This part is going to be quite light anyway, with hints of terracotta and bits of orange, but that will be for later on. We're just going to keep concentrating on this part for the moment. So then you've got the base of the ear there, so that's going to be like that. So just plop that bit in. Okay, so if you just like curl it out that way, if you're looking towards the base of the ear like that, yeah, and then it just flicks it. Yeah, I think I did the right thing moving over to this part. And like I said, this is just the base colour going down. We're going to add the layers in. Right, just going to work in the darker colour around there. So I'm going to use, because it's brown and there's no reddy brown there, I'm just going to put in a lighter brown and then go with a walnut brown on top. So you can see where we've got the fur that's come over. So we're just going to go like that, so it goes underneath it. Okay, and then go for the dark brown. And then what I'm going to, actually this one is the walnut brown. We've actually got a dark sepia here, so I'm going to add the dark sepia, which is an even darker shade of brown. So you might want to add a bit of black in with that, pale black, whilst you're doing that. So we're adding that bit in. I think for the next project I'm going to use a different type of paper. So this one's just to sort of get you started and just to give you an idea of what you'll be able to do. And this is this is the Polychromos Dark Sepia, like that. So we're just going to go underneath to give it some different level of colour there. I like the dark sepia, it's a really nice shade of brown. Just go over this bit as well. So although it looks like it's, you know, solid there, it actually goes up further into there, but we just need to build that part up. Yeah, looking okay. Right, going to use the brown ochre again for this part. It's going to be very light again. So what you can do, because you can still see the line up, you should be able to lift it out. There you go. So it's not so dark, because it's lighter colours around here. Right. I use a little paintbrush just to sort of get rid of the excess pigment. So let's try that again. Yeah, brown ochre. Excuse me, and then I'm going to use, yeah, it's more orangey around here, so I'm going to use the terracotta, so it would be like an orangey brown. And around here we're going to add some more of the dark brown in a moment. Just going to build it up a bit here. Oh, let's move it out of the way. So, and then just make sure you follow the fur around here as well. Well, all over, but that's for working on this bit. Keep knocking that camera. Okay. So just going to be marking out this bit as well. And then this one, I think. Yeah, the raw umber. Yeah. Always darker around the eye. Especially around this bit, but lighter around that part. I mean, once we've got all the pigment on, all the different layers around the fox, then we will go in and just check, make sure each part is looking okay. Either add or subtract colour as and when required. Right. It's gradually getting more character to it. Right, and what I want to do, this is a cool grey one. You're not going to see it much. Yeah, not going to see it much at all. Have I got slightly, just bear with me. What that Pablo cream is going to do. Okay. Well, it can lighten up the fur. But yeah, I'm going to leave that one there for a moment. Right. Let's have a look. Actually, it's the Cold Grey 2. Yeah, see the Cold Grey 2, you can see a bit better from there. Okay, right. It's all about trial and error. You can't go wrong. back in with the terracotta again. So when you're using different types of surface, the actual technique changes slightly. So if you're using drafting film, then I mean, it's a great layer. I love it. It's my favourite one. It doesn't take as many layers, but you can get such good texture from it and detail, and that's what I love about that, especially when drawing animals. Whereas pastel matte is good. Lots of people like pastel matte, but it can be, well, you know, you have to be so patient with it, because it's got tooth on it. But what you need to do is that tooth needs to be completely filled in. So you have to do lots of light layers. So you have to keep doing your light over dark, your light over dark, and then what you need to do is go in with your colours and the detail once you've got pretty much most of the tooth bits and, you know, filled in, because otherwise it can look a bit grainy or dusty. So you do need a lot of patience with that. Right, I think it's got some. Let's go for the warm grey 4 because it's got some of that different texture of colour in it. The object with this is to try and, when you're putting the pencil marks down, is to try and make it look as fluffy as you can. So whilst you've got the line art there, you don't necessarily have to sort of colour within the lines like you would do if you were, say, colouring in with a colouring book. This is just pure guidelines. So yeah, so you know, it's just there for guidance. Excuse me. And right, okay, just getting a bit more colour there, because he's actually quite sort of bushy around here, so I'm going to add in that. Yeah, I'm going to do that, because then I'm going to add a bit more of the maybe the terracotta or the burnt ochre, possibly the burnt ochre, I think, after this, because let's have a look. If we do it light enough, if it doesn't look too great, then we can always just remove it again. So We just go like that, go underneath there, and yeah, so you can actually have a bit of colour like that. So the best thing to do is to, as I said, so that you don't get harsh lines, is take out some of the line art like that, and then we can just do that. So there we go. So it's kind of looking, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Just do a bit more of the grey. Actually, a bit more of that warm grey. And then I think maybe a different shade of grey, because we're doing excuse me, we're on white paper. We can give it that effect so that you can just sort of see. So if I actually take out that, let's go over that again with that, and then a bit of that, sorry, cold grey too, and then brown ochre going through it. So when you take out the line art, well, take it as faint as you can, then it looks a lot better. Yeah, pleased with how that's going actually. Right. Okay, let's just add some more depth to this. So again, I'm going to remove some of the line art just to take it out a bit. So you can still see it slightly. And because we're getting a bit more colour and shape to it, you can see that it's taken on a better form. So we're going to add colour. Excuse me. So that goes down there. Yeah, I think that's looking good. I'm pleased with how that's going. Obviously we will go around this bit again. I'm just sort of plotting the colours at the moment. So that's a good thing when you're using Sarrel paper. It's it can be erased. So this bit can go in this direction because you're going underneath. So we're going to do I'm not 100% happy with that part. Brown ochre. I think it just needs, because it looks like it's just a line, and it does look like that on the picture, but I just think it needs to look a bit more natural. I think it needs some burnt ochre around here, just to give it some more definition. Just wondering whether taking out some of the, just make sure this is clean at the end, taking out some of this will give it some, oh yeah, give it some a bit fur texture. Then I can just add a little bit in, like so. Just get rid of that, like that. It's only dark around there. Yep, and then just add some more bits around here to build it up. And then next time we can start doing this part, which we've begun to sort of plot in anyway. Okay. Like so. So that has needs to blend a bit better, it does. So I think maybe, yeah, the raw umber. I mean, this will be darker anyway. Just going to put a bit of the warm grey 4 into this part. Yeah, I think that's working. Yeah, this needs to be defined a bit more. And then we need the dark sepia to make it slightly darker, as if it's coming underneath the fur. So we go up like that, so we're going under. Let's try this warm grey again for around this part, just to accentuate some of the fur. some more of the terracotta. To sort of build it up. Around here. Yeah, I think that's looking a lot better. Lots of adjustments just so you can get it right. I mean, that's a good thing about art. You're always learning, and you really have to see the colour, the direction of the fur, all the feathers, all the scales, whatever you're drawing, just to make sure that you're seeing everything and everything's going, you know, it's getting enough texture. But yeah, I think it's gradually improving. It's just playing around with the colours. So like around there, it's more terracotta, but then we're going to come into a bit of brown next time. So, but when you get rid of the the line art, it starts to come in its own. So just get a bit more of the burnt ochre. I think that's building up quite nicely there. I'm going to put in the highlights once I've done this part. So I think from that time round I will end up using a Museum Aquarelle White. I mean, that's quite small, that one. I do have some spare ones, but that usually shows up quite well on top of the colours like that. So that's what I'll use as the for the highlights. But for the moment, it's all about getting the under colours down. And I think I'm gonna add some brown ochre to this part. Yeah, it's gradually building up quite nicely. Okay, just do this little bit and then be time to sign off, and then we can do the next one. Do the rest of it in the next video. See, there we go, look. So you can see that's slightly different colour, but you can also see it's got that colour on it, which is the burnt ochre. Looks like it might have a bit of orange there as well. Let's have a look. so not orange terracotta. So just going to give that a bit of texture, a bit of dimension to it. And I think the final part maybe, what's this one? I think that one's probably a bit too light. Yeah, for the moment. Oh, I don't know. Let's try that. This is the brown ochre 50% from the Luminance brand. So it's quite light. Okay, so we need something a bit darker. So I'm just going to go with the raw umber. And just needs a bit more brown around there, around there. So yeah, quite pleased with how that's progressed. I'm glad I'd sort of changed to move over to this side, because I think it's really adding in, you know, the context of the actual face of the fox. But yeah, I'm pleased with how that's going. I think I did the right thing. I mean, so like I said, you can always you know, you can have an initial plan, or it's always open to change. Depends, you know, you're in charge. It's up to you. You know, it's up to you what you think is gonna, what works out best. But yeah, I'm pleased with how that's going so far. Okay, so next time, as I said, we'll finish working around here, and we're going to build up to the right ear, and then if we've got time, we'll go down to that part there. Okay,